Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and really try to extract those golden nuggets of insight just for you. Today we're plunging headfirst into the high-octane, rumor-filled world of Formula One, specifically looking at the swirling contract sagas, the strategic team dynamics, and all those behind-the-scenes pressures shaping the grid right now.
That sounds about right.
Our source material for this deep dive, it comes from a fascinating video shared by a very well-respected F1 commentator. Gives us a real insider's view on what's truly going on with key figures like Fernando Alonso, George Russell, and the team's Aston Martin and Alpine. It's packed with juicy details.
Yeah, some surprising perspectives in there, too.
Definitely.
That's right. So our mission today is really to go beyond the headlines, understand the calculated moves drivers and teams are making, and explore those often unseen pressures, particularly from, various F1 blogs and media outlets. We're here to reveal what all these bits of information truly mean for the immediate future and the long-term path of F1.
Okay, let's unpack this then. George Russell. What is really going on with his contract situation at Mercedes? It just feels like it's dragging on kind of endlessly, and you have to wonder why a driver of his caliber isn't already, locked in.
Well, what's fascinating here is the persistent speculation, and it's widely reported by F1 media, that TOTO, WOLFF, and Mercedes might be deliberately holding out.
Holding out? For what, though?
The underlying reason, according to our source, is that enticing, maybe distant possibility of Max Verstappen joining the team in 2026.
Okay. Max. That casts a shadow.
It really does, a long shadow.
Yeah.
And it's a significant part of Russell's current, let's say, predicament, because while a substantial offer for Mercedes was reportedly on the table, expected to be signed, it simply hasn't been yet, not finalized.
Right.
And this delay, well, it's prompting some F1 voices to suggest Russell should really start looking elsewhere. And frankly, other top teams should absolutely be taking a good look at him too.
So what does this all mean for his career path? Because we're hearing a lot of chatter, especially from certain F1 blogs and pundits. They're heavily pushing for Russell's renewal. It almost feels like they're, campaigning to crown a new British king in F1, especially with others struggling.
It does feel a bit like that sometimes, and it raises a really important question.
Yeah.
Why is a driver like Russell, who, let's not forget, consistently outperformed Lewis Hamilton in qualifying in his debut Mercedes season, finished ahead in the championship, why is he seemingly undervalued or put in this kind of, holding pattern?
Yeah, it doesn't quite add up.
No. He's often compared to someone like Carlos Sainz, maybe unfairly, in terms of being this invisible man, despite consistently demonstrating his immense talent and, delivering strong arguments for his place right at the top.
Right.
The source even points out that Mercedes controversially kept him in a junior team, Williams, for an extra year, longer than many believed was necessary before finally promoting him.
I remember that discussion, yeah.
And now, this contract delay. It just continues that pattern, which is perplexing given his proven performance. It creates this narrative of Mercedes not fully committing and, well, for a driver with Russell's ambition, that's got to be incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, you really have to wonder about the long-term psychological impact on a driver when it feels like your team is hedging its bets, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So, okay, from one contract puzzle to another, let's shift gears to Fernando Alonso. There's been a lot of chatter, again, particularly from F1 news outlets, suggesting he might be in talks with Alpine again. For 2026, some well-known commentators have even mentioned it on air. What's the story there?
Right, the Alpine connection again. Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, our source is very clear on this. This is likely F1 media just looking for storylines for Alonso, trying to create some drama. Or perhaps, even more shrewdly, attempting to apply pressure back onto Mercedes to finalize Russell's deal. How? By creating a sort of fabricated vacancy for Alonso at Aston Martin, implying Russell could go there if Mercedes waits too long.
Okay. Bit of media gamesmanship.
Exactly. It's a classic maneuver to stir the pot, And the information from the source is really crucial here to cut through that noise. Alonso's frequent visits to the Alpine hospitality area, the ones fueling these rumors.
Yeah.
They were for two very specific and frankly personal reasons, nothing to do with contracts.
Okay, like what?
Firstly, his longtime manager, Flavio Briatore, still maintains strong ties there, a significant presence.
Makes sense.
Secondly, his father, Jose Luis, and his partner, Ana, were at the Canadian Grand Prix. And Jose Luis has a great relationship with Briatore, finds it easy and comfortable to communicate with him, often in Italian.
So family and friends.
Pretty much. These visits were fundamentally about seeing his family and just being comfortable in a familiar environment with trusted people, not about negotiating a seat.
So despite all the headlines, it sounds like Alpine isn't exactly a top destination for a two-time world champion right now. More like the opposite.
Oh, absolutely not. And the source doesn't mince words here. It refers to Alpine as a team that is, to put it bluntly, in a state of financial distress, almost half bankrupt.
Wow, strong words.
Yeah, and it points to serious underlying issues.